Creating the conditions that we work best in is also about the environment where we work. And again, we're all very different. So there's not a universally true answer to the best environment for work. And so it's important for us to think about the kind of work that we do and where we work best, especially now that there is far more flexibility in whether we work from home or in an office or a hybrid of both. So spend some time asking yourself, what's the ideal conditions for you in that regard? Is it to work remotely from home and have flexibility, or is it that you prefer to be in and around people to work in an office, or a mix of both? And then look to create those conditions for yourself. There's also some thought that can be put into what are the kind of tasks that I'm doing and where do I do them best? And so for me, I have been a work from home person even before 2020. I have worked from home for 35 years, probably before it was a thing. And so I became really intent on where in my house I was able to get my best work done based on what tasks. So an example for me is if you see me recording, I'm usually in my office. This is where my stuff is set up. It's easy for me to just plug and play and go. If I'm going to be creating new content, I have a large table in my kitchen table that I clear completely off, and I put literally pieces of printer paper, just blank printer paper, across that entire table. And as I get ideas, I put them on each of the pieces of paper and I can move them around and arrange content. That's something that I created, that I came up with, that is my environment stimulates my creativity. So my brain now knows if we go to the kitchen table, we're creating something. And so that environmental shift tells my brain we're doing something different. Here is where I typically do recording or coaching calls. But if we go into the kitchen, my brain knows that environment is different and we're doing a different task. And I've created that for myself. There is also some studies that say that we increase productivity when we go to a coffee shop, not just because of the stimulation from the noise, the ambient noise, that part of the environment, but also there is some research that's been done that concentration and productivity is actually contagious. And then when we go to a coffee shop where other people are working and being productive, it puts us into that mode. If it's too quiet, sometimes people can't work. If there's too much noise, sometimes it's distracting for people, but everyone is different. And so it's up to us to spend some time asking ourselves, what's the environment that's best for me? Now, when it comes to your home environment, there is science that says that a clutter-free home, not perfect, not immaculately clean, but the less clutter that exists, the more our nervous system can quiet and be more calm. And so maybe it's an opportunity for you to create at least a space in your house that is a calm space for you. That's something that I've been very diligent about in my life, especially in times of my life that were full of disruption and challenges, like during the time of my divorce. It was really important that I had a couple of spaces in my home that were relaxing to me. My bedroom was one. I always made sure it was free of clutter, and that when I went there, my body knew this is where we're going to relax. I also would set up, I think bathing bubble baths are the most amazing thing. Some people hate them. So again, we're all unique down our fingerprints. I set up a very beautiful environment with all the tools for great bubble baths, especially during my divorce. And that was a bit of just a refuge for me and for my brain to go, okay, while we're here for 20 minutes, we're just going to be. And so you can create spaces for yourself, environments for yourself that do different things, whether it's the coffee shop to stimulate creativity and productivity, or a calm, quiet space where you can go to pray and meditate and relax a bit. But everybody's different. And so you know what's best for you, but use your environment as a means to create conditions to thrive. One other thing I wanted to bring up. I, of course, love story. That's a big part of my brand. Write your own story. And so I love things that have a story. So I have things around my house that remind me of things that make me feel at home and safe and loved. One of the ones I wrote about in my book is I have an antique piece of china. It's not worth much, I don't think, but it was my great-grandmother's, and it is just a little shallow bowl, and I use it as a soap dish for a bar of ivory soap that sits on my bathroom counter. My grandmother always used ivory soap, so the smell of ivory soap and that antique dish gives me this sense of purpose and history of the strong women that raised me and loved me unconditionally. And just seeing that they're on my bathroom counter first thing in the morning tells me a story about me. And so you can use things like that. Sometimes it's photographs, or everybody's different, but your environment can be a catalyst for your best thriving life if we use it intentionally. So we can talk more about this in our monthly group session about maybe what some of your ways that you use environment for thriving. Okay, love you, mean it.